If you want to do a business, you need to find the first 10 people that are going to give you $1.
You're a man that receives a lot of ideas, a lot of napkin ideas, and you're the assessor of whether this can be incubated or not. So when it comes to ideas, what is probably the number one reason most startups or ideas fail or are not viable?
Lack of unmet clinical need and lack of product market fit. It is really a problem. And most of the people are trying to solve a problem that it is a problem, but it's already being solved for many other solutions. And so it's very difficult to just give the first reason, but when you look a lot of reports, is lack of unmet clinical need or lack of problem that existing problem. You believe there is a problem. Okay, you believe there is a problem. How you have validated that that's a problem for other people? Because when we have that bias that we believe there is a problem, but we're just one. It's an N of one. And you need to have you need to have, I don't know how many people. I always tell people when we move this forward, focus on your first 10 customers. No, but if we penetrate 5% of this market, and I say, I don't care. I think I told you the example that I always give to people is you have lemons, cool, fantastic. You do the research, development, you transform those lemonades into lemonade. Amazing. Wow. Now you have lemonade. Okay, who is giving you $1 for your lemonade? Oh, no one. So you don't have a business. You have beautiful, tasty, fresh lemonade, but you don't have a business. You have lemonade. And if you want to do a business, you need to find the first 10 people that are going to give you $1. Once that you have your 10 people that gave you $1, collect feedback, improve it. Who can give you $2? Or maybe you need 20 more people that give you $1. And then you keep scaling. So unmet clinical need, lack of an unmet clinical need of a problem, validated problem is the first cause that we close that. Because especially in healthcare, as I said with Cleveland Clinic, is patient first. If we are not solving a problem, you're not going to make money out of that.
So if somebody wants to, somebody understands AI well or technology well, and somebody wants to find a solution or an unmet clinical need, what does one do to be able to responsibly interrogate, vet, or ensure that a problem exists for which their possible solution is applicable?
Okay, the first thing, there are two things that you can do. The first one is primary market research and secondary market research. Primary market research is go and talk to people. I don't know if people have read or you have read the Mom Test. Have you read that book? Read that book. It's incredible because let's say that you draw something you are creating something and you go to your mom. What does your mom say? Oh, this is beautiful. It's lovely. I really like it. And you say, okay, mom, give me $1 for this. Can you buy it? Yes, for sure. Here you have $1. And it's your mom. So you need to go and talk to other people and don't tell them the solution. Say, for example, let's use an example that I validated with Cleveland Clinic. There was this technology that we said, no, there is no market for this, impossible. And we did a primary market research because I said this technology can be used outside Cleveland Clinic. I mean, in rural hospitals, less trained cardiologists. And we went and we talked to the cardiologists, and those cardiologists, we didn't say we have this solution. We say, how many times do you face this problem with this specific pathology? 3-5 times per week. And what do you do when you face that pathology? Well, I try to treat it, but 80% of the time I cannot do anything and I refer them to another hospital. What would you do if you have a solution for that? Well, obviously I will try to do it myself. And what will that solution be if you have a magic wand? This solution is going to be like that, like that. Bingo. And then when you start repeating that and you see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people telling you the same message, you have something.
I see.
That is the primary market research. You go and talk to people, but don't tell them about the solution. That's the Mom Test.
Oh my goodness. It sounds so simple, but yeah, you're vetting the problem. You're validating the problem exists, and you're vetting your solution not to see does the square peg fit in the triangle hole. You want them to tell you that it's a triangle hole. and then you already have the triangle and you know it will fit. So that's primary. And then that's amazing. And then what is the secondary process?
You just go to ChatGPT and I start asking with consensus or PubMed or whatever and trying to find if there are publications about this problem, right? And yes, for example, with this specific case I was telling you, it was overwhelming that we were treating bifurcation artery lesions in coronary arteries. You know, you have two coronary arteries and they bifurcate, and it's very difficult to treat them. So, fun fact, when I was looking into the literature on that, you see Congress after Congress that they always talking about the same. Everyone is doing their own solution. There is not consensus or very strict standard of care. Yes, when you're at Cleveland Clinic in a center that they do 10 of these cases per day, and you talk to that doctor says, oh yeah, this is a piece of cake. You're doing it 10 times per week, sorry. If you go to someone that never does it, they will say, no, I'm not scared. I'm just trying to do whatever I can and then send the patient to you. So that's the secondary, looking into literature. But one thing that I know that it's not going to sound very scientific, but it is very useful. I look into Reddit and Twitter. Well, X now.
And that's because they're kind of your primary assessment. They're real people.
And ChatGPT now is very good to put there. If you say, for example, I was looking into make it clinical data portable, accessible, shareable in an easy and secure way. And I went into Reddit and we found 6,000 people saying that it was a problem for them not being able to share clinical data with their physician in an easy manner. Imagine now that you go to those 6,000 people and you say, hey, I saw that you say that this is a problem. Can I talk to you for a second?
Oh, wow.
Reddit is Reddit and X and another very good source is Google Words or Google Search, when you go and you filter how many times people start looking for something. For example, how many times people, when you go to the flu season, I don't know if you knew that Google tried to create this algorithm because when you're getting close to flu season, people start looking for headache, I don't know, fever or sneeze or blah, blah, blah. So you start looking into symptoms because now Google or searches or ChatGPT, this is when people are really honest. When we're doctors, we know that when people come to us and you say, do you have chest pain? No. What is that? I don't know. And the wife of the patient that is coming or the spouse says, he had chest pain yesterday. He's lying. Oh, yeah. And I'm pretty sure that if you go to the Google search of that person, you will find, what do I do when I have chest pain?
Oh, my goodness. That's so true.
Have you read the book,
I love that.
Everyone Lies? That's a book that you need to read. It's there.
So the mom test and Everyone Lies. Got it. So that is very helpful. It sounds simple, but my goodness, I'm sure people are a little, not horrified, but just like, oh, I really should have done that first. So that's very helpful. The second question I have is, when it comes to startups, even historically, one of the biggest places that startups stall is revenue. And obviously that's a big issue. But when it comes to AI and tech, especially if anyone is, investing in tech stocks and AI stuff, that reality seems a lot larger because a lot of the actual revenue to justify the upside, to offset the cost, it just isn't there. And so you're actually having, as far as the valuation metric goes or assessment, a D or an F because you're having to spend so much money. What is either the problem or the concern that you have with this, or what is the fix for this solution that, again, historically you have a revenue problem, and in these cases the spend is far greater and on a basically promise that eventually this should correct itself?
The healthcare system in the US is a fee-for-service healthcare system so far, the majority, right? Value-based care and all these things that they're trying to take off, but it's taking longer. And technology goes to the speed of light, and the regulation goes to the third of the speed. So how do you match that in a way that, again, we need to be safe, we need to protect the security of our patients, the data. We need to do all the regulations. We need to be regulated. No one denies that. And how do we do that in a way that we can at least go at the same speed, right? And in the regulation. But the regulation also is coming in a fee-for-service healthcare system when if you are not reimbursed, you are not going to be you're never going to be profitable, right? And what does it mean reimbursed? People say, oh, I need a CPT code. Okay, but that CPT code, reimbursement has three phases. It has CPT code, that is coding, coverage, and payment. Okay, imagine that we created a technology AI that has a CPT code. Cool. Now, it's coverage by the insurance. Fantastic. Payment. Imagine that they pay you $20 every time that you use that technology, but for you as a startup, the cost of producing that is $20.
Not even.
You're losing. So what do? You try to reduce cost. It's the impossible triangle. You have cost, quality, and time. You just can't pick two. If you want quality, it's going to take you time and money. If you want to make things cheaper, you will need to spend, again, a lot of money and perhaps to keep the quality up, right? So it's the impossible triangle. Just try to pick two. And on the startups, most of the time, unfortunately, they don't have that. So that's because, as you were saying, that at the beginning, they are not, it's a risk, it's a bet. And a CPT code takes, you say, well, I finished the FDA maze where I'm FDA clear or whatever. I have 510K, they know whatever you have. And then you need to go to the maze of the CPT code. There is another crazy stuff. So and how do we solve that? I don't know. I don't have a magic bullet into that. I think that once again, if we could make things going at the same pace, maintaining the guardrails of safety, it will be good. But at the end, everything boils down to legislation.
Oh boy. Yeah, I think even the CPT code, I mean, it does generally fall on CMS, but CMS, I believe, contracted with AMA. And so it gets, there's a little, bit of a web on even figuring that out. And
again, look, I'm not an expert in CPT codes. I try to learn it. And you have you have two main options. The first option is you create a new CPT code. And as you say, CMS, MAA, they meet every 90 days. I don't know. Do you need to hire a consultant for that? The same for the FDA. And that's very expensive. It's 50, 100K or whatever. And then with the CPT code, you can find a CPT code that is already being used and you can say, hey, I am doing sort of the same. Can I use that CPT code for my technology? And they need to approve it. That's cheapest and faster, right? But again, if you get paid $10 and the cost for you to produce it is $20, you need to try the way of reducing your cost until you're $5 and keeping the quality.